Japan occupied Korea until the end of World War II in 1945. After their surrender, the peninsula was divided along the 38th parallel, the Soviet Union occupying the north, the United States the south. The plan was to reunite Korea, but as the Cold War escalated, both the communist north and the capitalist south claimed to be the legitimate government. Then, in 1950, another war began.
On Sunday, June 25th, Communist forces attacked the Republic of Korea.
North Korea's army overran the south. A United Nations force landed, led by the United States, and pushed them back. As far as President Harry S. Truman was concerned, the stakes could not have been higher.
In the simplest terms, what we're doing in Korea is this. We're trying to prevent a third world war.
But as the UN forces, including Australians, moved north of the 38th parallel, the Soviet Union urged China to intervene on the communist side. A human wave of hundreds of thousands of Chinese troops joined the counterattack.
Despite obstacles, United Nations forces drive on to the 38th parallel, border of North Korea.
In reality, the Korean War was getting bogged down. UN Commander Douglas MacArthur urged President Truman to expand the war into China itself and consider using atomic bombs, just as he had 5 years earlier against Japan. But that threatened retaliation from the Soviets, who now had their own nuclear bombs. MacArthur was sacked. The Korean War dragged on for another 2 years before an armistice was signed, again dividing Korea along the 38th parallel. The threat of an American nuclear strike saw North Korea begin its own atomic program. With some technical help from the Soviets and China. It took decades, reactors were built, plutonium was enriched, and with each new development, alarm grew. Sanctions were imposed in the 1990s. Multi-party dialogues, frameworks and agreements were signed. In 1994, the CIA raised fears North Korea may have produced its first nuclear device. Then, Bill Clinton announced a deal had been done to halt the North's weapons program in return for much-needed aid.
North Korea will freeze and then dismantle its nuclear program. South Korea and our other allies will be better protected.
But North Korea maintained a secret uranium enrichment program and, despite signing a statement of principles agreeing to abandon its nuclear program in 2005, the following year, North Korea announced it had tested its first nuclear bomb.
과학연구 부문에서는 주체 95 2006년 10월 9일
The United States condemns this provocative act. Once again, North Korea has defied the will of the international community, and the international community will respond.
The past decade has seen more talks, North Korean offers of putting its nuclear ambitions on hold in return for food aid, then more tests of nuclear devices and missiles with greater and greater range, and increasingly belligerent warnings to the United States.
Threatening to attack the U.S. with its, quote, powerful nuclear hammer.
This week, after the US pushed for more UN sanctions, the Washington Post reported North Korea has developed a miniaturized nuclear device, small enough to be mounted as a warhead on one of its missiles. President Trump then ramped up his rhetoric. North Korea better stop making threats, or else.
They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen.
North Korea fired back rhetorically, threatening to envelop the US Pacific territory of Guam in fire. And almost 70 years after Harry Truman's warnings, again, we're wondering if World War III could start in Korea.